My name is David Olmstead. I'm with Stream-Flo Industries from Alberta, Canada. What I'm talking to you today about is a very special emergency shutdown valve. We're kind of a special spot in the world. Our most common application is exactly what you see in that picture right there. It's a well in the middle of nowhere. And how that worked really well for me down here is the storage industry. I came down here in 2008, I guess it was, and started walking around looking at wells all over the place. A well here, and 2 miles there, a well, and 2 miles there, a well, da-da-da. And they had all these wells, and I saw very, very few emergency shutdown valves on those wells. And I was actually startled by that, actually very startled. Because you've got oil and gas coming up or going down, depending on what you're doing. The storage, you're injecting it sometimes, you're pulling it out other times. But if that flow line, that silver flow line you see going along, that breaks, you've got to shut that well off, or all the gases down there is going up and going to the atmosphere, causing fires and all kinds of good things. So what we have is an emergency shutdown valve that's mounted on the well. You can see our ESD valves are mounted right on that well. But there's lots of emergency shutdown valves out there. What makes this one special and so applicable to this remote one well in the middle of nowhere is that these systems don't need anything. They don't need gas, they don't need electricity, they don't need anything to operate, to be opened. And that's what makes it special. All we need to open this system is this. That's all we need. I take and I pump the system open. I'm pumping, and you'll notice this indicator rod goes down. Right now I'm taking clean hydraulic fluid. Nice clean hydraulic fluid from this reservoir into the pump. I'm pumping it into a hydraulic open spring fill close actuator. I'm pushing down on the piston, it's pushing down on the spring and opening up the valve. So all I need to open this valve is right there. I don't need to bring electricity out to that site in the middle of nowhere. I don't need to bring solar power panel units out there in the middle of nowhere. I don't need to bring anything except for a right arm to do. And that's what attracted the people that I talked to when I first came here. I said, you know, you've got all these wells with no ESDs on, emergency shutdown. And they said, why not? They said, well, we've got a little problem. We don't know how to power the ESDs because we can't use our gas. It's got a little bit of moisture in it, it'll freeze in the winter. We can't bring electricity to all these sites. And I said, well, here's an easy way to do it. You're going to take a valve out of the line, you're going to drop it on the ground, you're going to pick one of these up, same size rating valve, drop it in, and you're in business. And to say it's been successful here is an understatement, guys. You guys have treated Stream-Flo Industries extremely well, hundreds of systems for us. Now, that was the basic system that I came and promoted to Enbridge and Union and all those guys. And what happened here is that it caught me with my pants down a bit. Because all of a sudden, back in Alberta, we're selling 2, 3, and 4 inch valve. All of a sudden here, they want 11 inch. Well, that's not a problem. We do right up to 11 inch, no problem whatsoever. So we sold a bunch of 11 inch systems. This little 2 inch valve, it's going to take me 25 strokes to open the system of the handle. 11 inch, about 200 and something strokes. And this is where, what I want to show you now is how this product is evolving and evolved. The evolving, all of a sudden we go to 11 inch, all of a sudden it's 2 and something strokes, all of a sudden the people at Enbridge are going, gee, our guys are getting sore shoulders doing this. Can you help us at all? And so what we said there, they wanted something that they could pump this system out without having to do this all the time, but they didn't have electricity inside, they didn't have anything. So we invented a rotary gear pump. This is an option that bolts onto the system. It bolts on, and now instead of having to do this to open the system, you take your little electric drill, you hook your electric drill up to a gear on the front, and now guess what? I'm pumping it open with the electric drill. And boy, the boys loved that. The field boys, the first time I showed up with that, and they were going 200 strokes at a crack. They just absolutely loved it. So that's one evolution that's happened here. The next evolution, all of a sudden people are going more automated every day, right? They want to be able to remotely control this. Well, remote shutdown is very easy. They just, instead of using pressure pilots or pressure sensors, they can put an electric solenoid on here, a little 12-volt low wattage solenoid, and they can, through a wire line coming out to an ESD, they can just trip it on loss of electrical signal. That's for shutdown, that's easy. That's really good. But for opening, guess what? Now, the only way to open this one is either that or that. No, what we do is we can equip those systems with an electro-hydraulic motor. That's got the same pump on the side of it as we've got here, but now it's also got an electro-hydraulic motor on it. So now for shutdown, they put electricity to solenoid, that trips it. For opening, they put electricity to the electro-hydraulic motor, and now they can open it. But they always have the backup of the manual hydraulic hand pump. So if one day they don't have electricity, guess what? They can still walk out there and open it up. So that part of things is one evolution that we've gone to another step. Now that part really isn't, it's still pretty dumb if you get my drift. It's got to be manually done, and you've got to manually start it up, and you've got to manually trip it and all that sort of thing. But what we can do now is we're going to take this evolution from strictly manual to rotary gear to electro-hydraulic remote. We're going to take another step further. And what we're going to do is we're going to equip this system now. It's electro-hydraulic just like before. It's got the electro-hydraulic motor. It's got the manual pump on it. We're going to equip it with what we call an intelligent valve controller. It's a computer, if you want to word it that way. That's hanging off the side of the CSD. That ESD is way out there somewhere in the middle of nowhere. And now all of a sudden this ESD could be as intelligent as your heart desires. We can equip this with any type of sensors you want, pressure sensors, position sensors, any sensor you want. And now the system can be totally autonomous. It can sit there all by itself and decide what it should do. You don't have to tell it to do certain things. You don't have to tell it to close. You don't have to try and figure out what it's been doing, why it's been doing what. You could get on your laptop here, and this well could be in Abu Dhabi. I could get on my laptop, sign in, and through the internet, through SCADA, RT, whatever communication system you want with that well that's in the middle of nowhere, I can get on there, I tie into the intelligent valve controller, and I can say, what's the pressure in the flow line? Boom. Guess what? Now it tells me the pressure in the flow line. What was the pressure in the flow line yesterday? You go back, yeah, there it is. That's what it was. Gee, when did the system last shut in? You go in there and it tells you when it shut in. You can say, when's it due for service? You can go into it. It'll tell you what characteristics. We have algorithms that tell us if it closed in 10 seconds, now it's closing in 11 seconds, now it's closing in 12 seconds. We can tell it's time to service that valve or whatever you have to do. And we've taken a dumb system to the point where it's even self-diagnostic. It tells you everything you need to know about that well. You've got total control of it. You can take that well, shut it in the lake, shut it down. You can go back on the next morning and say, I want to start that well up. Should I start the well? What's the pressure in the flow line? And you just look at the pressure, you type it up, and it comes up, says pressure in the flow line is good. Good, I can bring it back on stream. Or you can even have it lock itself out. If it wasn't good and I tried to open it, our intelligent valve controller is going to say, hey, you're not opening this well, you're not blowing this up and killing the guys. So the evolution of this equipment from being a very manual, dumb system, all the way to here, where it's a totally autonomous system. It can operate on its own, think on its own, tell you all the information you want to know on its own. It's an absolute wonderful evolution. I've seen now here in Ontario, let's come back to here. This is what we started with, manual pump. Then we went to rotary gear. I see probably in the next little while, people come to us going, I want to have remote control of these. We're going to bring electricity to the site or solar or battery or something. And all of a sudden now we can start tying into communication systems. And instead of the guys having to go out to the well site to start the well up or drive all the way out there, which is dangerous as hell, all of a sudden they can just go online and they can say, look, I've got complete control of this well remotely. They're not sending the guys out there to do things. They don't have to go out there and take readings off the gauges and stuff like that. It's going to be, I can see where that's going to end up happening here eventually. And we're ready for it. We're not worried about that. That's what Stream-Flo does. This rotary gear pump, and this is something I'm very proud of with Stream-Flo. We're a 62-year-old manufacturer in Edmonton, Alberta County. We have 1.5 million square feet of manufacturing facility in Edmonton. Our R&D group are amazing, amazing. I come back to them with the stupidest of ideas, and the next thing I know, it's a product. That's the rotary gear pump. It was a stupid idea. Miss Hugh Flesher and Mint Function and I were yapping away one day, and because we'd been asked by Enbridge to look into it. I need to trip this up. Now, what happened is they're buying just the rotary gears by themselves now, the pump, and retrofitting them on all these ESDs that are out there already. So it turned out for us, first order, I think it was 40 or something units. It was a wonderful order. But now we're taking that all over the world. We are. Because we'll custom make these things as custom as you want. And our competitors, they're a little disheartened to see all this, I'll tell you. They are. This will evolve even more, I can tell. I'm going to be talking to you and you and you somewhere out there, and you're going to say, Davey, can you tie this into it? Oh yeah, we can do that. Hold on, let me get a bit of fun on the phone. Yeah, next thing you know, we can do it. But the evolution of the basic hydraulic self-contained, the basic hydraulic self-contained is 44 years old. Then we start adding options and then all these accessories and so on and so forth. That's our strength. And that's really where we're advancing with the industry. And I can see where the old well I showed you the first one, where it's just an ESP with a pump on it hanging up in the middle of nowhere. That's going the way of the dodo bird. They don't want their guys driving out there to pump these open. They want to do it by remote control. They want to be able to monitor that well. They want to know everything about that well just by hitting a couple of buttons on a computer. And that's fine by me because we can do it. Guys, I want to thank you for the business that you've given us. You've given us absolutely wonderful business. You have. I want to thank the OPI. I've been coming here for I don't know how many years for the OPI, and it's always a joy to come in and see a bunch of friends and customers and meet new people. You guys can be really proud of what the OPI is and what it does. I mean, it's wonderful to see how dynamic it is and meeting new people and so on. If you've got any questions at all, please grab me. I've got brochures and bulletins and you name it, everything. I hope that was a bit of interest, and I don't think we saved the best for last, but yeah.